All right. Guys, when you first log into the back end of your control panel, this is where you're going to get in here. This is the where all the magic happens, and there are a few bits and pieces that I would want to walk you through. File Manager is a place where all the files that you install into your web server would be resident, and if you want to access billing information and all the other bits and pieces, you would find them in here. You also have FTP accounts in here. You can manually create additional FTP accounts, but there will also be a master FTP account that has been created when your account was set up. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is, at least in my case, if you are installing your first website and you're using the easy installer, then you need to scroll down. Now, before we actually move back beyond this stage, I just want to explain one or two things. Some of you guys, you've been given you have a web hosting account that can host more than a single website, and if that's the case, this is where you add add-on domains. So you click this button here, and this button is going to open this table. You enter the additional domain here, and these buttons will be automatically be filled, and then you add the domain here. That's all you got to do. All right, so I'm just gonna go back to where we was. So we were here, and I was talking about scrolling down. The first thing you need to do is scroll down to email accounts. When you are installing your website, you will need an email account where all the installation details and the other bits and pieces would be sent to. And because this is a business account, probably maybe it's also your first domain, you may not have an email that's connected to your business. So the first thing, as this would be your first the first domain, is to create email accounts. You can create one or two, or you can just create one and move on to installing your website. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and create one. Okay, I'll just enter my password here, and I'll repeat here. And if this is going to be your catch-all email, remember to click unlimited here, so that it can give you enough space so that it can sort of like catch all the email addresses that you want to send to your website. It makes sense if you're going to use the email address for sales, or maybe support tickets and things like that. I think it makes sense that you should create a catch-all email address. So in this case, yeah, create one or maybe two, like I'm doing at the moment, and then decide which one is going to be your administrative email. If you want to use an external email, like a Gmail account or an Outlook account email as your main email on your account, that's perfectly fine. There's no problem in doing that. Okay, so once the emails have been created, that's perfectly fine. What we're going to do now is we'll just scroll down. There are a lot of things here, but for the time being, you don't need to concern yourself with anything apart from the usual stuff. Okay, so you scroll down to softwares. Once you get here, you notice that there is this Softaculous application installer here, and if you click that one, it should be able to take you to the next window. And as you can see here, you've got WordPress, you've got Joomla, you've got shopping carts. There are so many applications behind here that I think you could do equally install. As you can see, there's plenty, but the one that we want to concern ourselves with is the WordPress. So we are going to hit WordPress, and this is where now it's going to give us options in terms of installing the WordPress. This is a one-click installation application. So once you fill out all this information that you need to do here, all you need to do is just click one button, and your website will be installed. There are a few things that you need to observe and make sure that you sort those out. And the first thing is okay, so here it would ask you to choose which protocol do you want your website to be resident at. Is it going to be HTTP, or is it going to be HTTPS? And if that's the case, is it going to be HTTPS www, or is going to be without the www? It makes sense for you to sort of like make a decision on these things. And the only things I think that are going to be affected is the fact that whether on your web server you have SSL certificate installed. But in this case, when you buy hosting from us, from Database Hero, we do provide a standard SSL on every server that we have purchased. So you have purchased. So if you choose to install your website on an HTTPS, that's perfectly fine. The next thing I think you would notice that if you leave this directory here, you will notice that your website might not be found at .com. So make sure that you delete this directory here. This is if you leave this one blank, your website would be installed at this directory, at the root directory, which means people who are trying to go to your website, they will have to go to your domain.com. But if you also wanted to use your main domain as the maybe for something else, and you want your blog to be in a different directory, what you could do is instead of you could install it on blog, so which means people who are going to go to your blog, they would have to go to your domain.com/blog. But in this case, I don't want my blog to be outside of the root directory. So what I'm going to do is I will delete, and I will leave this space blank. If I leave this space blank, it would allow me to install the website files into the root domain. Now, the other dilemma that you are also going to notice is that, as you can see here, it's telling me that my SSL certificate is not found. This is because it hasn't been installed yet on this domain. So what I'm gonna have to do is change back to the HTTP, and once I've installed the SSL certificate in the back end of my website, I'm going to change the the root domain where the files are going to be resident. I'll show you where you could easily do that, and it doesn't affect anything else. And this is merely because this domain hasn't had any SSL certificate installed. But if I had an SSL certificate installed, I would obviously have no such error like this in this case here. All right. Okay, so all you have to do is just scroll down and get to the settings part. So now this is where you configure like the title of your blog, and if you've got a subtitle, you can configure everything here. But I also need to point out to you that all these settings, if you don't get them right now, you can actually configure them in the back end of your website when WordPress has been installed. But it makes sense that you sort of like sort this and get them out of the way. So I'll just write something really simple. All right. You can't leave this blank. It will still prompt you to enter something there. So so you can actually write something something really simple as a placeholder. Like I've said, you can edit these things when everything has been installed and everything is sorted out. Okay. Here, this is where you sort of like create your username, the name that you're going to use when logging in into your website and stuff like that. You've got to bear in mind that you can, once you choose the username that you're going to choose here, in the back end, you can choose to edit the password and stuff like that, but you want to be able to change the name. So make sure that you choose something that I think you can stick with, and something that you're going to be happy hanging on it for a long time, because this is a business, and obviously you're gonna have to make sure that whatever decisions you're making, you're comfortable with them. All right. I'm temporarily just going to I would advise you to choose something clever here. Don't use admin and don't use administrator, whatever. Choose something very unique to your website. But because I'm using this as a demo site, I'm not gonna bother myself choosing or making it choosing sort of like a complex usernames and things like that, like I normally do on my other websites. I'm just going to do something simple, just to demonstrate to you guys how things are done. And here, this is as you can see here, you can if you click this this key here, it will let me just show you. So as you can see here, that's the password that it has generated for me. But if I hit this key, you notice that it has generated a new password here. So make sure that you generate a very strong password here, and you should also make sure to copy this password and keep it somewhere safe, because if you lose this password, you won't be able to log into your control panel. And if you want to use a custom password where you type in what you think you could easily remember, it's up to you. You can do that, but I sincerely recommend that you auto-generate your password, because it's going to generate a very strong password for you. This password can't easily be guessed. Nobody can guess what it is. So I'm gonna hide my my password there, and I'm gonna and I'll just pick that one. Okay, so and the other thing I also need to make sure that I mention to you guys is the as you can see here, it says there admin at newsbit or admin at your domain.com. Make sure that you change this to the actual email address you want to use for your for correspondence in terms of your website. As you can see here, I've got a number of templates that are available. All these templates you're seeing here, they are all 3 templates that I could easily choose and work with. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna choose a template here because I've got some cool templates that I've paid some money for, and they come with some beneficial stuff that I think SEO beneficial stuff that I think I can work with. So I'm not gonna install this because whatever template I install here, I would end up changing and install my own templates that I have. So all I need to do here is just click install. WordPress has been installed with one click. WordPress is installed. Now here, this is the URL. If you click this URL here, you'll notice that it will take you straight to the website, to the WordPress landing page. And if you click this URL link here, it will obviously take you to the back end of the website, or to the login area of the website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that one, and it should be able to take me to the back end. Voila, as you can see, it has taken me straight to the back end. So now this is the back end of your WordPress website. And if I just hover here and just right click and open this into a new tab, I should be able to see this in a new tab. And if I flick, this is the front end of our website. As you can see, there is literally nothing, but you can see that WordPress has been installed, and this is our skeletal website. Once again, back to the back end, there are quite a few things that I think you can do here. The first thing that I normally do is to make sure that if there are any updates that need sorting out, I have to do that. And on this side here, as you can see here, it says updates, and it looks like I've got one update that needs doing. This button here is a button that you would click to take you to an area where you can add or edit odd posts. As you can see here, this is a custom post that usually comes with WordPress. So once you install WordPress, WordPress is going to have a custom post that comes built in within WordPress. Let me just go back to the main site here. You would notice that we've got one post, and the post that we have here, it says welcome. It says, hello world, welcome to WordPress. This is your first post. Edit or delete it, then start writing. So what I'm going to do is obviously when we get to a point where now I'm starting to build content, I'm obviously going to delete this post. It makes sense for me to delete this post, because if I don't delete it, it will get indexed by Google. And to delete the post in WordPress, all you have to do is just to hover here, and you can see it says trash. If I hit trash, it's been moved into the trash. That's where it goes in. And if I click that again, it will give me an option to permanently delete it. As you can see there, now if I hover it, it says delete permanently. So, or you could do either restore or delete permanently, and in this case I'm going to delete it permanently, and voila, it's been deleted. Alright, so if I go back to that page, it will tell me that there are no posts. As you can see here, there is no posts found, which means now I would have to start creating content, because the moment you install WordPress, obviously automatically WordPress will ping Google, and possibly overnight this website is going to be indexed. So I have to make sure that once I've installed WordPress, I have to clean it up and go ahead and publish 1 or 2 articles. I usually publish about 4 or 5 articles, but there are no rules in terms of how many articles you can publish on your first blog. But I think it helps for you guys as you are starting your blog, like we discussed in our previous video, where we talked about picking keywords and creating pieces of content in advance, writing at least 5 or 10 articles in advance quite helps. But you don't have to write them as many as 10. You can actually just sort of like brainstorm on the keywords that you want to go for. But in terms of writing the articles, you can write them as you go ahead. Okay, so once again, let's just explore the back end. So if this is the dashboard button, if you click this one, it takes you to the main control dashboard of your backend, your WordPress backend. This is a button that takes you to media files, to the library where you have your images and all sorts of things. And this button here is also one of the buttons that you are going to use, possibly maybe more especially in the early beginnings of your WordPress installation. If you want to create pages to go on your website, this is where you come. So if I hit all pages, it would take me, and as you can see, just like the installation came with the sample post, it also comes with a sample page. And this sample page, obviously you can either trash it, or you can edit it and make it whatever you want. But in this case, I usually like editing this page. So what I'm going to do is I'll just turn it into an about us page. So I'll edit the URL. Make sure if you're going to edit it, you also edit the URL structure here, because if you change the title and you don't edit this, nothing is going to change there. And in this case, once you've done that, before you update, you hit update here. Make sure you highlight this text and you delete that so that it's blank, and then you hover over here and hit update. Once you hit update, it means this page now is being updated, and as you can see, there is nothing, but obviously I already have content that I'm going to put on there, because there are some key pages that we need to create, and those pages have to be sorted out today before we do anything. So to go back to my dashboard, all I need to do is just to hover over here and hit dashboard. Okay, so we're gonna have to hit updates. Like I told you, when you have a warning sign, you would normally see this lady button and a number there. Could be 2 or 5 or 6 or maybe even 10. If you've been neglecting your blog, you might find updates there. They're piling up, but in this case there's only one here. So all I need to do is just select there's only one here, so I don't have to use that one. I could equally just select that one and hit update, and as you can see, it has successfully updated and is completed. So I've got two options here. I could either return to plugins page, or I could return to WordPress updates page, but in this case I think I'm going to return to plugins page. The reason why I'm returning to plugins page, because I do want to make sure that this installation has been secured, and we pick a few plugins that we are going to install at the back end of this website. So all you need to do to install plugins is to come here and just under appearance and hit plugins. So let me just go back to the dashboard so that you can see where your plugins are. You can see there's appearance there, and the plugins is at the bottom. When you hover there, it gives you an option to open installed plugins or add new plugins. Whichever button you choose when you hover here, it's going to take you back to the same page. The only difference is that when you hit this button here, it will show you plugins that you have already installed. If you hit this one, it will take you direct to an option where it shows you, it says pick which plugins you want to install. For example, if I hit that one there, it takes me here. So it's showing me that this website has got two plugins installed, Hello Dore and the Kismet and Spam. It's important to activate especially this plugin if you want to keep spammers away from your website. Usually people, when you have a new website installed, people will come and try to spam it and comment links just to build links to their website and stuff like that. But in this case, when you have a Kismet and Spam installed on your website, obviously that's not gonna happen. And like I said, if you hit this button here, now it takes you to this page where you have all sorts of plugins that you need to install on your website. And in this case, we're just only going to install just a few plugins. So what I do is I'll hit popular, and as you can see, we have very popular plugins here. My first plugin that I install is this one, contact form. So I'll install that one. You could do equally install. Once it's been installed like this, you can hit activate. So what it's going to do is it's going to activate the plugins. But for you to go back to the same page, you're gonna have to hit add new, and then hit popular again, and that brings you back to the same page where you were. And then now you can move on to choosing another plugin and then install it. In this case, we are going to choose Yoast SEO. So if I hit that one, install, as you can see here, it's installing. So it takes a bit of time. This plugin is a little bit bigger, and like I've said, you need to hit install and then make sure that you hit activate. So it takes you back to the same page, and to go back to that page to install another plugin, you have to hit pop, and you have to hit add new, and then hit popular here, and that takes us to the same page. And in this case, we are looking for the other plugin, and the other plugin that we were looking for is this one, WordFence security. I'm going to hit install, like as you can see, it's installing. This plugin is it's very helpful in terms of securing and keeping away people who try to log in into your backend, and people who are trying to spam and stuff like that. So it's got amazing rules that you can actually set up, and I'll show you guys when the setting up and the choosing firewall options. So I'll hit activate and just wait for the plugin to activate. Okay, so once you hit activate, as you can see here, it has activated the plugin, but it needs me to do a bit more to make sure that the plugin is set up and it's ready to go. And the one thing that you need to do is make sure you provide your email here. It's very important to make sure that this email you're going to provide here is an email that you know you will have access. You will easily have access, because this is a security plugin and it can actually lock you out of your own website. And once it has locked you, you need to provide credentials that it can unlock you and let you log in back to your own website. So make sure that you need to make sure that you provide a reliable email here. In most cases, you could use a Gmail account. Obviously, once you get here, it's going to ask you to enter a premium key here. You don't need a premium key at the moment, because you're just beginning with your business. So there is no need for you to use a premium key here, but you can still use the free version. It's still very robust and it's very helpful. So all you need to do is just click this button here. It says no. It says no, thank you. So that moves you to this stage. We haven't finished installing plugins yet. There are still some other plugins that you can add into to your blog and stuff like that. The other plugin, I think that I'm gonna advise you to make sure that you you install, that would have to be, I think there is this plugin, I think it's called TOC. TOC is the table of content, so you might need that one, because I think it's helpful when you are creating content. As you can see here, it's showing me that I can structure my pieces of content depending to this is the one that I like to install. So I will click that and I will install. Click install. Okay, so for now I think we're gonna stop right here and move on to other bits and pieces that needs doing. And the other thing I think that you need to sort out is make sure you come here and you hover over settings and make sure to go to permalinks. So if I hit permalinks, I need to make sure that I change the structure of my articles here. As you can see here, according to the current structure, is my articles are going to show day and name of the article post. So what it means is that when I publish my article is going to say domain.com / the date, the category, the date, and then the name of the post. Wow, this is perfectly fine for, as you can see here, it says the year 2018, 03 is March, 18 is the is the date, and then the title post there. This is not good for me in terms of SEO, because every post for me is going to start with numbers and then my post. Most of my articles are SEO optimized. So if you want to sort of like maximize your SEO optimization, you want to change to this structure here, which says domain.com/article post. So what you need to do is just select this one here, and that's it. We are done. So I'll just scroll and save changes. Alright, okay, so that's done. The next thing that we need to do is just come back here. I don't know if you can see here. Yeah, here, table of contents. We need to sort that out. So there are options that we need to figure out here, and I like my table of content to be after the first heading, and yes, it has to be 4, and it has to be 1 post. Okay, so those are the basics, really, and as you can see, it's a robust plugin. You can choose which orientation you want. You can choose this one, which is a little bit distorted, but I like this one here, so I'm not gonna mess around with it that much. So what I'm doing is I'll just click here, update, and it updates that. So like I said, that if you highlight appearances here, it will take you to the back end, where now you have an option of themes and stuff like that. WordPress comes with these 3 themes installed, already installed. It comes with these 3 themes installed already. Obviously, like I mentioned, that I'm going to change these. I'm not gonna keep these. I'm going to install my own professional theme, but this is where you would change your theme. And if you're installing a new theme, all you have to do is just hit add new, and that takes you to the back end here. There are thousands of templates in the back end here. I think there are really a lot of templates that are available here, and okay, so for now I think I'll just try and have a look at what this looks like. Okay, so you hit install. I'm just installing this template temporarily, just to show you how installing a template would look like, and make sure that you hit activate so that the template is activated. So I'll hit activate, and voila, as you can see now we have the template here, and this template comes with these other plugins that it requires for it to function properly. In this case it's asking us to sort of like go ahead and install these. So all you have to do is just hit begin installing, and you can either select and select all and hit install, but if you select this one and you select actually it means it will install one plugin after another. I usually do installation one after another. I don't do back installation. There are so many things that I think can go wrong with that kind of installation, but it's possible for you to be able to do that. And as you can see, I'll go back to the dashboard, and now when we go back to the front end, remember this is how our website looked like. And if I just hit refresh, you notice that now it looks different. The whole website looks different now. So you won't be able to see a lot here because we haven't got any content here. So probably maybe for you to be able to see how this template actually stacks up, we do need to make sure that we have content on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get going to take one of okay, so this is one of my articles that I just finished writing. You can see it's a long article. I do write long articles. This is, I think, close to 1500 words. Close. It's not. This is it's not very long. I do articles that are longer. I do articles sometimes up to 3000 words, just one article. Okay, so to add an article post in here, all I did was as you can see, I went into my article writing platform, and I've copied my article. I highlighted my article and copied it, and now I get back to the back end of the of WordPress, and I hit posts or posts. I could either hit add new or I could hit or posts, but in this case I'm going to start this by well, I'm going to hit add new, and this is where my article post is going to go in, and this is where my article is going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'll first paste my article in. Okay, so I'll copy the article title. Now paste it in there. All right, so get back in here, and I'll make that H1. All right. Voila. So what I need to do is I need to edit this link. I want my links to be nice and clean. Alright, so I'll add that, and I'll hit save draft. Okay, save draft. And now if I come here, you can see it says preview, because if I go to the front end here, you won't see anything there because the article hasn't been published yet, so it won't appear. So if I hit preview, it's going to take me to the preview page now. So now I can see what my article looks like. As you can see here, I've got my article right here, but because it hasn't been edited yet, it doesn't look really that nice. So what we need to do now is to make sure that we sort of like clean this up so that the article looks really nice. And the one way that you can do to make sure the article is looking nice and clean is to make sure that you edit it, you add images, you add all the other bits and pieces, like if you have video, if you have what do you call GIMP or whatever it is that you call, you have to edit, add media to your article, so that yeah, at least it looks much better. Okay, so guys, while I'm doing this, because you don't need to watch me doing this, while I'm doing this, that's the way how to install WordPress. There's nothing really complicated or whatsoever. It's just straightforward, and like you've seen, it takes literally about 5 minutes to configure the whole thing. And by now you know you've got a WordPress, and it's ready to publish. If you have any comments or any questions, make sure you guys, there's a link below this video that would take you to our Facebook group. That's where most of the discussions about moving your WordPress to the next level, and how money is made, and how to monetize the blog, and whatever strategies that we apply to move on to making the kind of money that we are talking about with our blog is happening. So make sure to click the link below this video and join us in the Facebook group there, and ask for whatever help. For anybody who is having trouble connecting the dots and making things work behind the platform, there's a lot of help in our Facebook group. Okay, cheers.